Hello and welcome to a very short video about Attack in Space by Tomy. First of all, who are Tomy? They're a Japanese-based company. They were founded in 1924 and they've been making toys since then. They started with friction toys, and as they got to the 80s and 90s, my era, they'd moved on to more popular plastic toys that we all grew up with, either wanting them by circling them in the Argos catalogue at Christmas or actually owning them. Now, some of the more popular toys they did Furby, they also did crossbows and catapults as a sort of board game. They did, let's see, Screwball Scramble, they did Jenga. They also did a range called Water Toys, and I'm sure you'll remember those. They were the cylindrical toys that you filled up with water, you had one button, you pumped it, and you had to push rings or balls up over hooks or into hoops. Not mind-blowing stuff, but at that age, they were great fun and they were affordable. Walking into Ryder's Toy Shop in St Albans or any toy shop, there would at least be a wall of Pocket Arcade games, Pocketeer games, or the water games that, maybe not quite pocket money priced, were still very reasonable. This is from their range called Pocket Arcade. Before Pocket Arcade, there was also the Pocketeers. I'll put a few of them up on the screen so you can see what they look like. They also had a range of video games called Tomytronic. This is not my original Tomytronic. Sadly, that was lost years and years ago. But this was an eBay purchase for £5 in this Sky Attack, and there are plenty of videos online to talk about that. So go and have a look at those, and I'll cover this another day. They also did a very, very cool train set range. Now, growing up in the 80s and 90s, you probably came across Brio. It was the all-wooden train set. Well, what Tomy did was they did a plastic version, and it was all motorised, one AA battery, big track, and you could just build whatever you wanted, and it was fantastic. And it eventually became Tomica and their city set, and they had a whole different set of it. They also did a Thomas the Tank Engine branded version. This, by the way, is my original train from about 1988, and it still works perfectly. So their stuff was quality. Now, very quickly, coming back to Attack in Space, what is this? This is a Pocket Arcade game, and they had a load of these. In fact, the ones that I remember the most and was always desperate for were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle versions. All they are is their clockwork, and as you can see here, if I put this to stop and reset this, you turn this around a few times, and eventually you get to a point where it goes, no, enough, please don't turn me anymore, like that. And then you could start it, and it makes horrible noise, so sorry for those of you wearing headphones. We'll stop that. And you have a fire button. Very simple gameplay. And what happens in this, you've got your missile control here, and it goes left to right, and when you push fire, almost looks like you're firing something. It's not quite, it's just a long ribbon on a motor, and if you've got it at the right point, you destroy one of the Space Invaders. Now, it's a very manual process, so once you hit one of the Space Invaders, it goes ping. What you've got to do is, when you've destroyed all three, if you've still got time left, you hit reset, they all reappear, and you carry on until your time runs out. Now, you haven't seen that very well, so what I'll do, I'll move this in front of the camera now, and we'll go through a quick game of it. So here we have it. This is Attack in Space, up close and personal. Here's our reset button, which brings these three aliens back in space. And as you can see, they've got the traditional style of Space Invaders. We also have our fire button here. We have our start and stop, and we have our timer wheel, which is basically just a giant spring that you're winding up, which does the mechanics of the game. Now, you can just about see the ribbon strip here, and when we press fire, you'll see the little missile get pulled all the way up, and it gets ready with the next one. Now, the thing I'll say about my one here, I don't know if it was like this from new, but it does struggle sometimes to actually hit the alien when you've got a direct hit. You'll see that in a moment when we demo it, and I won't talk too much over the gameplay because honestly, the noise is terrible, and I'll probably just replace it with music. So let's wind that up, and here we go. Oh, and the wind up has run out. You can just see I was about to get a perfectly direct hit. Hopefully you saw that anyway. Well, let's jump back to me. So do I like Sky Attack? Yeah, I actually really do. It's a really good fun game, and what makes this even better was it was cheap. It cost me £3.20. I couldn't find any pricing online. I'm sure if I'd done a bit more digging I could have found the original pricing, but I'm guessing it would have been about £4.99 back in the heyday of when these were sold. For me, £3.20 and a couple of pounds postage, it was worth it. It's going to be added to my collection. Yes, it didn't come boxed, which is a shame, but the boxes weren't anything special, and I actually intend on playing on this. I've played it 3 or 4 times since owning it, and yeah, I'm planning on doing it again. Are these worthwhile buying? Well, if you're a collector, definitely, but if you fancy a little taste of the 80s and the 90s and what we had to play with, do it. Jump onto eBay, there are loads for sale, and I'm sure you'll get a good deal as well. Anyway, I'll see you for the next video at some time in the future. Bye!